So, if we want light, we just flip the light switch, right? Unless the power has gone out, we're in good shape. But a long time ago, they didn't have electricity. They didn't know about how electricity worked. And so they got their light sometimes from candles, but sometimes from oil lamps. Now, I should have brought this one up first. This is a little oil lamp that looks a little more like the ones from the time Jesus lived, or maybe not even made out of metal, maybe made out of clay. But sort of a little roundish top with a wick sticking up in it. But it works exactly the same way as this one, and you can see what's happening better in this one. So see this red stuff? That's the oil. And inside, if you look, you see that sticking up there, there's what looks like a piece of fabric going up. And that piece of fabric is the wick. And it comes all the way up, and it comes out there, and it soaks the oil up. And we can turn the wick up and make the flame a little bigger. Or we can pull the wick down and make the flame a little smaller. But if you run out of oil, what do you think happens? You have to get more, right? And if you don't have more, the light runs out. You are left in the dark. Exactly. So our gospel today was about some women, 5 of whom thought ahead and made sure they had plenty of oil so that when someone came to visit, when the bridegroom came, they would have a flame still burning. And 5 of them didn't think ahead very well. They weren't prepared. And they didn't have enough oil, and the light was out. So it's just like on Halloween when somebody, if the porch light isn't on, it means don't go knock on that door. Well, 5 of these women made sure that the porch light was on. They made sure that they had plenty of oil in their lamps to burn and to shine, to welcome people, to welcome the bridegroom. And 5 of them just hadn't thought ahead and didn't have enough oil. And our gospel calls us not just to have plenty of real oil in our lamps, but to have plenty in our hearts. Plenty of love, plenty of care, plenty of forgiveness, plenty of peace, plenty of caring for others. To have plenty of that in our hearts so that we too can have the light on to welcome anyone who may come in God's name. And that's how we fill up on all those things, is from God. Our preacher today is one whose heart is filled, and has been for a long time, with much of that love and care. So, Pastor Carrie?
I would like to invite Gerald Somerville to come forward. As Betsy said, Gerald and his wife Meryl are members of our community and have been for a long time. And Gerald has a beautiful story throughout his life. The light of Christ has shone, and he has been a light for others. So we want to invite Gerald to come and share some of his story. We're going to do that together. So Gerald, as I said, you have been in this country and you have been at St. Mark's for many years, but you haven't always lived here. Where did you grow up?
Good morning.
There you go.
I was grown up in Jamaica, West Indies. Way up in the mountains. It was very hard to get to the mountains, and the guys got the mountains in their rooms, and it wasn't easy.
Was it like St. Marguerite School, our partner school? They were way up on top of the mountain?
Exactly. And the same thing with us, our transportation was donkeys and mules. Well, it was very hard on my parents. My parents have 9 kids, my mother had 9 kids, taking care of at home.
9 children. Wow.
So I was a high school dropped out, so I decided that I got to help around the house. My mother, since she had so much to do, and it was so hard, it was stressing her. So I decided that I had to find a job so I could help with the maintenance of the rest of the kids.
To make some money for the
For the
family.
family.
So where was the job and what was it?
I found a job on a chicken farm. One problem was I had to walk 11 miles away, back and forth.
11 miles from home
From
to
home,
work and
11
back
miles back.
each day.
Each day will get a little harder sometimes, will easy. That's used to.
So did you have to get up very, very
I
early?
got to get up early in the morning. Just like my father, he had to get up early. He goes to the farm to plant food and vegetables. So, there would be something around the house to be fed. Anyhow, it surprises to me, like a gentleman I knew, I always help around his helping with his vehicle, to get it maintenance for work. He's a truck driver, so in the days following weekends, he would have to go from one city to another to transport, just like the transportation works here, transportation food from one place to another.
So he was a friend and a neighbor of yours who you helped out.
I helped him out. So one day, surprisingly, he asked me, do you want to go help my daughter in America with the kids? You know, I looked at him, are you making is this a joke? So he said, no, I don't make jokes at all times. He was a very serious man. You know, he was serious, but you could get along with him very well. Anyhow, the day, 2 days following the day after he asked me, he took me to Kingstown, which is the capital. That's where American embassy is. So he took me there. I went with him to meet his son-in-law. We stayed in a hotel. We slept the night. The morning I woke up, I found an envelope underneath the door. Opened it and looked, and there was an American visa.
Wow.
This was shocking to me. It's so hard to get away from Jamaica and to leave the country to go someplace else. It's very hard. Even to this minute, it's just like this.
Hard to get a visa.
Hard, very
Yes.
hard. And I got a visa in a day, actually, for 2 days I did. So that was very surprising. So
What
I
did you
said-
make of that?
I said, oh, this is God's work. Because I usually ask God, could you make it a little bit better for us? And I just believe that it was going to get a little bit better for us. It was very hard. So that was a start for me. I entered here in the country in 1975, September 75, and my visa was for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And you're still here.
I said, I'm here, I don't think I'm going back. So I did just as what other people does. I stayed here illegal for a while, but I worked my way through, and I got a green card, I got settled down, I got a residence, and from there I got my citizenship.
And you did work for this man's daughter?
I did work for my daughter. Yeah. If you don't mind, I can say the name. His name was James Bagar, and he was the grandfather anybody around here knows the Tysons, the Tyson's kids. He was the grandfather of Tyson's kids.
Well, we're blessed that you came here to St. Mark's, that you found your way to our community, and that you stayed more than 2 weeks. We're very grateful for that. How Gerald, what's a more recent experience you wanted to tell about a recent experience of God's grace in your life with Merrill and in our community?
Well, I'm not going to share enough. I live talk. Really tears me up. So, my wife was in the hospital for a period of time, and she almost, it comes to death, almost, it is death, I could see. Because one day I went to visit, and when I went to visit her, I walked through the door, and she was laying on the bed, her eyes were open wide. I said, Mary. She did not respond. I said, Mary, I went and shake her. She did not respond. A nurse was sitting on right next, not too far from next door to her. So I went and called the nurse really fast. I said, come, there's something wrong here. My wife is not responding. And they ran over and they called the doctors and nurses and everybody. The place was crowded, the room was crowded. And so I went out. Just as I went out, who I saw coming up the hallway was Pastor Perry. I couldn't believe what I saw. I said, this is God coming. I was tearing up by it. And Pastor said, oh, girl, what's wrong? I said, Mary, she's not responding. She came and she gave me a hug. I could feel the spirit working in my heart. So, from there on, my wife, she couldn't speak. She had a stroke. She couldn't speak. She couldn't walk. And blessings and the prayers and the love I received from this congregation here in St. Mark. And she came back and she started talking. She talks so much now. Sometimes I want to say, oh, very please. But so I said, this is a miracle from God. She's alive today. She walks, barely walks, or she can barely get around. She was supposed to be here, but I don't know what happened to the person. She was supposed to be here this morning with me, but it was too early, so I had to come to the station. So when I called a while ago, they said she was still not ready. So I was wondering what was doing. Anyhow, she's doing very good now. This was all the blessings and the prayers and the love that I received from this congregation. I couldn't be more happy to be here. Plus, I went to other places before I came to St. Mark's, was looking for places to go religious services. They weren't that much satisfactory to me, so, but things I heard and the things stuff I'm seeing, it was really pleasant. I was looking at a place to send my daughter to school, and they would not accept me and stuff. Anyhow, St. Mark was the last place I really ended up. And at first it was easy. It's not easy getting into any school. I got in, I said, I didn't know whether it was because I wasn't educated enough, or I had enough money, but anyhow, when I came to St. Mark and they accepted me, I stayed here all these years. This is where I get my blessing from God. God gave me the strength to be taking care of my life, the rest of my family.
We're blessed.
I have never been sick in my life. I turned 70 a month ago. I never ended up in the hospital for one day. That's the blessing from God. So
Your courage and your faith
I think that
and your life are a blessing to us at St. Mark's. And I wonder if you might say another word to us about, maybe a word of encouragement to us about how to keep our lamps burning.
the way to keep your lamp burning is to have faith in God. Believe in God. Believe all times that He's there for you. And He's going to help. Don't matter how things get rough. If you've been a good servant, you keep yourself the way you think that somebody would accept you. You believe God will accept you also. We pray, we keep our faith up. That's our lamp burning. As a matter of fact, this story is, I have 2 lamps at my house, 2 lanterns.
2 like these.
Two like these. Well, one is one with oil. The other is had a pump with used by battery. That one with batteries, it's already here filled, ready to go. The one with the oil, there's no oil. I have it here that it reminds me. I have it set up, it's sitting up a little where I can reach it in case of emergency right away. And it is there. This one doesn't have any oil. This one has oil. That reminds me of the rice and the food. And I have it there. I said, that put oil in this one. I just keep it. And when I read this scripture, I said, this was for a reason why this lamp was here without oil. The other one was here burning. So, we always got to be prepared somehow and be ready. If it's in one of our lamps, so we can see the light.
Gerald, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for your light in our
This would
community.
be a long story to share, but it would take a year.
Talk to Gerald at coffee hour. There's a lot